Good evening, everyone. This video is going to be trading review and support session for February the 22nd, 2023. So I'm going to go through the trades real quick. I still have my cold, but feeling a little bit better today. So let's see how what it was going on when we first looked at the market this morning. So here's the daily chart. What we were looking at was on a pretty bad down day, day before yesterday. This is today. This is our trading day today. And when we first opened up, it was still a pretty narrow range, but it was above the 50-day moving average. So as you can see, it really didn't do too much today, but it moved around, certainly enough to be a reasonable trading day. So far, in the overnight session, it's up a little bit. And if we take a look at the big picture of what we were looking at this morning coming in, right? So it had made the Globex low here. Oh, actually, it had made the Globex low over here in the middle of the London session. And then we opened at about here, right? And today was the FOMC meeting minutes. So you can see the market kind of sold off after that was announced. And so, came down to S1 and moved around. All right, so anyway, as usual, in the morning it was bouncing around some, and I took advantage of that. And so let it go a little bit this morning because the volume was okay, but it just wasn't moving too terribly much in the 20 minutes before the open. So when that happens, I usually kind of try to let it go around a little bit. And so it had made, right after the open, it had made a dive down here to below VWAP and the daily bias a little bit. And it came back up. It's having some difficulty breaking out of new highs here, right? Going into the volume point of control and 3-minute moving average. Then it crashed kind of back down on some selling and some expansion. So I took a short here, right? And was out. Had a kind of a double bottoming activity down here and shot up. I wasn't ready to go long just yet, but then it did take out this area, and on a long entry I entered in here, kind of expecting it to get back up to this double top area, and it did. And so I got out. I was going for 4 and 5 ticks. I got out of the 4 tick level, which had the vast majority of my units to get out, but it still had one level, and I'm still kind of a little struggle with it. But when you have something left, and you're hoping to come back and get out of that last level, maybe you have a tendency to wait a little bit too long. So I did reverse, right, and essentially add 2. Right, and reversing, just reverse this one level, and then I added to it to be able to get out a little bit earlier, and to make up for this small. Well, I mean, it's 1 unit, but it's still like a 4 or 5 point decline. And so I was out around here with profit on this entire trade. So let's move the chart over a little bit, and oops, I gotta get my mouse back. All right, there it goes. Oh, okay, then it's kind of coming into another double bottom again. All right, so back up again to this kind of resistance kind of area. It's coming down, back down underneath everything. So I took another short here. Ultraflex was under all the flexes, but Ultraflex hadn't turned just yet. Everything is still moving down, so that turned out to be a quick trade there as well. And then again, it wasn't trending heavily, but it was moving. This time of morning, it kind of moves. So back again, back above all of this area up in here. And so I take a long trade here, right? And again, kind of seeing if it would come back up into these levels, right? And it was after 640, and so I ended up taking a short profit. That's what this is. it would have gotten the whole thing, would have exited 4 and 5 tick level. But I took it, and I think I took it at like 1 and 2 ticks, or 2 and 3, something like that. I don't recall which one. But that was that trade. And then since it did ultimately break out of those levels, this was a little bit more aggressive trade. Remember, I have changed the EMA band to start at 4 instead of 4.5, so I thought I had a little bit of room here. But I did kind of trade it into the 1 minute high. So this is another trade, and it just didn't quite pop enough, so it came back down. This bar was a little bit concerning, right? It's a big bar, but everything, the trend, as you can see, finally has determined to stuff to go up. So it's hanging here at the volume point of control, the 3 minute, the 5 minute. In other words, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and it started to pop, and so I added to it, and I was out for a positive trade here, and then I think that was about the point where I decided to slow down, and but then looks like I took another trade. I got sucked into this, and again, I do have a cold. Not that I don't do this occasionally anyway. Um, I got sucked into this high level kind of a breakout attempt again, and it's not perfect alignment here, but at this point the market has almost convinced me, and like I said, that it's going to go back up. So I kind of chased this expansion, right? It had pulled back. It was still above the slow moving average. So then it came back down again, kind of the same thing, back down to the support area, right? It's bouncing back up. So I added to it here, and I'm out here. And looks like maybe I could have gotten out with the original entry, but anyway, I have a tendency to, if it's trying to bounce off of these areas, to get out. And so now I think this is probably where I decided to slow down a bit. I think I probably maybe missed a trade going into the 7 o'clock hour, but that's okay. I was pretty profitable by that point, at least profitable enough with not feeling that well to take a break. Looks like I did take it out. Oh, this is, so I let all of this go, right? There wasn't really that much going on anyway. It was kind of in a kind of sinusoidal pattern down, no really volume going on though. So here's the 7 o'clock. No 7 o'clock news, but 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. It kind of does its thing sometimes. And everything is aligned to the downside, and we are getting volume. So I took a short here, right? And I was out over here. Made me slightly nervous because it had to break the to get out. It had to break the open and into the 2x200. But it's okay. It's everything was on the way down, right? So did that, and that was my last trade. I chickened out after that. Because I didn't really want to. I mean, I was up at that point. I'm up a little over 7 on a per unit basis for the morning. Gross efficiency was okay. Wasn't necessarily anything to brag about, but efficiency was okay because I had that one trade that I kind of reversed in, even though I just had a part of a position, and then 2 trades I added to. It always hurts your efficiency a little bit. And then I was saying there are more trades to be had, but I didn't trade anymore before we broke up, and just trying to get some rest. I mean, look at this. This would have been a great trade. Wasn't watching it, right? Coming back up, kind of went sideways for a while, right? Went sideways enough that the EMA caught up, right, and had an expansion off of the EMA, and then really started to hit it here. And that one really would have been a good trade. Didn't trade it, but that would have added to the morning's profit. And maybe this one is a little bit more aggressive, right? I mean, didn't quite get up to the EMA, so this one is a little bit more aggressive. Here's another EMA trade, but it's above slow flex. I don't think that one is very good. And then it tried to take off the other way. Some buying from the bottom, not a whole lot, right? But it was some buying continuation in here. But again, it's about the mid hour standpoint. Sometimes you just don't necessarily want to take a chance on those. But this next one was this next opportunity, and I wasn't looking at it, right? Mid 7 o'clock hour, right? It did what it could. It got back up in here to the 2x20 area, didn't quite hit the daily bias, and they started selling some, right? AVR turns negative in that time frame, and then expansion down, and then you could have taken a trade there, right? Probably could have taken a trade off the, well, it's a little bit more aggressive, but it got rejected at the minute average. Could have taken a trade there, and this one is too low, right? But it did come down and make a new all session low, and this one not quite lined up. It more lined up here, right? Could have got another trade in there, and now it's kind of a mixed market with not too much going on volume wise. I mean, there is some buying going on, but no expansions. And then we're coming into the 8 o'clock hour. And really, I mean, the market has slowed down. It slows down a lot at this time of day. So it's just up to you on if you need trades. And then it kind of, this one doesn't look too terribly bad, right? It's starting to roll over, right, on kind of a down day expansion. So that would have been okay a little bit after 8. And then they're kind of into 8:30. I had already checked out by that particular point. So I'm still trying to get rest and recover from my cold, and but I'm still paying for the coffee I'm drinking and even the cold medicine I'm taking in the morning. So up over 7 points. So hopefully, certainly by next week, I hope to have completely kicked this thing and getting back to maybe trading. I mean, getting up in the 7, 8 point kind of range that I have been. I think I called it quits early one day at like 5 or 6 points. But still managing to get profits in every day while I'm fighting this cold. All right, so if nothing else, I'll go ahead and start this video processing and get it on the site for you. So have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you in the trading room tomorrow morning.